Hi and welcome to this week's video. In this video I'm going to start doing a little bit of prep work for the engine, which isn't going to be fitted for quite some time, but Aero V have said that my engine is about ready to be shipped, so it might arrive here in the next couple of months, long time before it gets put on the front of the aircraft. But there are some differences in the way it is mounted compared to a standard VW engine. I had to shorten the nose by a couple of inches because I need to have standoffs because of the intake ducting and things like that, and the engine mount footprint is slightly different. So I have to do a little bit of jiggling and pokering, and I'm trying to work out exactly how to get it to work on the front of the Youngster. So we'll make a start on that. Might as well get cracking. Come on then. Okay, so front tailplane struts made up the same way as the rear ones in the last video. There's one slight difference. One thing you've got to be aware of is this: the angle at the top end here to the bottom end, rather than both the flattened sections being on the same plane as they are for the rear strut, there is a twist because of the angle of the lower longeron, and B, the rake at which we've got here. It puts a slight angle in, sort of twisted out of line. So what I did was I made sure it was good at the bottom end, laid up the tube up the top end here, and marked the front and rear face so that I got the orientation right when it came to flattening out the tube. So I did that. Well, I annealed that end and flattened it, drilled it and put it in, annealed this end, offered it up, marked and set it up to get that twist just right. So a little bit different, nothing that's super major. I suppose you could, if you got it slightly wrong, you could put the flat of one end into the vise to stop it from rotating, and use a adjustable spanner against this end, so, and twist it and then offer it up and align it. That would probably work reasonably well, but I'd rather try and get it right to start off with rather than putting extra strain and stresses in. Angle wise, we're 0 here, 0 on that rib, 0 on the longerons, 0 on the next inboard rib, and 0 on the outboard rib there. And that's using also this top longeron, double checking against the datum line here, which is my datum longeron point there. So everything is flat. Okay, so a little bit of a departure. I'm just going to start doing the basics for the engine mounting plates to go at the front of the fuselage. It shows a small sort of square one that goes on the back. That's the one which I'm actually going to carry through probably to each side. I need to just work out by actually drawing on here what the size of it needs to be, because that's for a standard VW and I'm using the Aero V engine. So you can see I've got some different dimensions to where the holes and things need to go. Let's have a little look and see how that works out. So it's got 4.8 inches out each side, opposed to the 4 we've got there. So we are going to be coming out further out each side, and then from the centre line, just roughly draw that one across. From the centre line up, it's 5.5, so it's going up quite a chunk. So we are going to have to change the plate front plate size and the rear plate size to accommodate and give ourselves a decent amount of wood around the edges. So I'm going to have to redraw that, so to speak, on the wood. And then I don't need a big accessory hole here. Just have a small one. I've got to make allowance for the fact I've got a big hole on the side there, which is for the starter motor. So again, that's going to be coming out the side here. So I will make the rear plate at the moment. I'm just going to make it up so it fits between the verticals with its appropriate depth, and I will make up this front one again just a little bit bigger for the moment, top to bottom, and draw out where the holes and things are going to need to be for the mounting holes. And the corner holes, you know, the actual mounting to the fuselage, those holes there will stay as they currently are. Now you'll sort of see it's got different sets of holes. Shows one set of holes up here and another hole here. We're only using this lower one because if you actually look across, if you look across here, it says Youngster model 7 3/4 inches, and the Avenger model, it's got 9 inches. So I'm going to have a little look. I might actually put this one down here a little bit lower, because that would allow me to accommodate, just give it a little bit extra rigidity in that vertical face, and that won't cost me much in the way of weight. And then I can go from here up accordingly, depending on what the backing plate is. So I need to do some drawing out on my piece of wood. So to start off with, my fuselage width is just over 18 inches wide, or will be once the ply sides are stuck on, but I want to just inset it a little bit for the fiberglass cowl and things. So I'm going to make this 18 inches wide in the normal format. I'm just going to draw 2 lines 18 inches apart, 18 inches in, I should say, as far apart as I can, and then I'm going to join those up. I've already checked the corner down here to make sure it's as square as I can, and then I want to make a centre line on this, so I want to be 9 inches. That'll give me a base centre line to start with, but this won't be the centre line for the rear of the engine, because it'll be slightly offset to the right to allow for the fact I've got a left side thrust into the engine, so back end of the engine is going to be shifted over. I should imagine about, I think about half an inch. I'm getting close towards half an inch. 1 degree of side thrust, and the engine's nearly 30 inches long, so it'll be nearly an inch. Well, it's nearly half an inch rather. So we'll see how it goes. Right, I want the vertical height. I'm just going to go for 18 inches for the minute, because that will give us a nice bit to play with. I can always cut, I'm going to be cutting it down, so it's just, that's going to be my initial bit, and then of course 9 inches up will give us a centre point. Like that. Now we can start working a little bit from there, can't we? Okay, so from the centre line up to the hole for the youngster drawn on the top bit there, it is 2 3/8 of an inch, and on this drawing here it's 2 1/4 inches. Yeah, okay. We'll go. It doesn't actually give a dimension figure, which I wish it did, because that way I'd know what it actually should be, rather than how we tend to get it from these pieces of paper, which are not dimensionally stable particularly. So I'm going to go for 2 1/4 inches. Okay, so now I've got you moved over. Right, that's the engine centre line, this line here, and this is the aircraft centre line. So 2 1/4 inches up is where we want to be going. That's what it sort of said, yeah, what we just decided. So I'll draw a line there, and a line there. I'll just connect those two together. And this is our upper mounting hole sort of position. We don't know how far in it's going to be, but that's going to be our upper mounting hole position. And then I'm just going to see on the Avenger, it's got 9 inches. It can go down to 9 inches, which I can do here. That would be, so if I went down 9 inches on each side from that top on there, I think that would be good to go. So now we've sort of confirmed that we could use those positions there. I'm not going to draw in inset to where those holes are going to be. I will drill the airframe and then bring it back by clamping this in position on the actual airframe, and back drilling these holes, especially as they're going to be angled slightly so that the bolts are in line with the longeron. So they're going to be sort of angled outwards, one might say, from the front here through the longerons, or through the front verticals, but in parallel with the longerons. So that's it says that on the instructions and plan, so there's no deviation or anything in that format there. So with these down to here, once I've actually got them start doing, I can then put a nice sort of radius area in, and I can drop things down as I feel fit. Now the next bit is, because we want to trim away some of the outside and stuff, is I'm going to now draw on here using this section here to work out where the holes are going to go through this for the engine mount side of life. So okay, so I've drilled the hole here and on the other side. I've marked down here 2.5 inches and set it up on the centre of this vertical post, as it says on the plan to do, and drilled through using the longeron as a sort of sight for the drill, to make sure that it was correct in that orientation and in that orientation as best I could by sighting it all the way through. Piece of wood clamped on the front edge here just to make sure we didn't break out too badly. The line which I've got there for the top bolt, I'm just going to transfer that around the corner here. I think I've got a tube going, and I'm going to do the same on this side here. And I can sight that up then with a line 2.5 inches down on the side of the longeron, sorry, the vertical section from the top of the longeron. I can clamp this into place, and then I can run the drill back through the bit there. Okay, so there's a line 2.5 inches down from the top of the longeron down to there, which is in accordance with the plan. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to run a drill through from the back here through the plywood there. So with a piece of wood clamped in position, just to give me a line for the longeron, so I know what angle to drill, I can now sight along there and horizontally this way and drill right the way through. Okay, I've drilled the engine mounting points out 2.5mm, so I can use that to transfer through to the firewall ply section and onto the rear support section, which is going to be a little bit of a redesign, because the height here with the these holes being a different spacing to a standard VW, the ply rectangle that goes at the back is going to have to change slightly, and I'm planning to sort of make it a bit of a T to come across and then put the cross member there. It's going to be quite a change in sort of design, just to be able to accommodate things, so we have the nuts and bolts in the right place and have the cross beam something like the right height, the similar sort of height. A chunk of a redesign. So taking some measurements off the drawing, I've got a couple of marks here and a mark here, and the bit which I want to sort of take out is a sort of piece that's going to go across here somewhere. Well, there we are, rounded cut with a jigsaw. Just needs a little bit of a sand, but I'm probably going to end up doing a slight radius route around the edges anyway, just to curve things off, make it a little bit smoother. And this is yet to be sort of chamfered into the same angle as the fuselage down these sides here, so that's yet to happen. I don't know quite how high up I'm going to be coming here before I end up chopping up to the top end. That's going to be interesting. We'll find out, because these holes are quite high above these bolts. So there's a top fixing going into a cross member up here somewhere, will be up here somewhere, not quite sure exactly where. That is going to be quite critical to keeping everything lovely and stable. That makes it the sort of fifth point of contact, which is going to have to be quite strong. Well, that's it for this week. Not a huge amount of progress, one might say, to see, but a lot of thinking and planning, sorting out, working on this engine bulkhead, well, engine mounting for the bulkhead at the front end here. We're getting there. A lot more work to do on that. And I've just done a little bit of painting, which I haven't shown the bits, but all the tailplane struts and things now are painted, ready to go. So, see you in the next video. Bye now.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the thumbs up. You can subscribe or even hit the little bell notification for future videos. Any comments would be appreciated, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. Remember, go fly and feel the sky.